A thermal camera captures a mysterious figure creeping through the brush. A large dark shape lurks by the road in a large park in Canada, and one trail cam captures what looks like a massive eye staring straight into the lens. This is more footage that could finally prove Bigfoot exists. Michael Green isn't the type you'd expect to go chasing Bigfoot. The guy's a former Army tank commander and fraud investigator, so he actually has a background in digging up real evidence. As he put it, I'll be unabashedly stupid and say, yeah, I really do have the right credentials for this. His whole obsession started during a camping trip in North Carolina's Uwharrie National Forest. He was lying in his tent late at night when something massive slammed right into his camp. Describing it later, he said, "Next thing I heard was leaves rustling. 2 seconds later, it was right over my tent. Roar, roar." And that wasn't nearly as loud as it was. Scared the devil out of me, as you can imagine, end quote. Well, a couple nights later, he saw an 8-foot creature walking right past his table, but he forgot to hit record on his camera. He called that the biggest mistake of his life. After blowing that chance, he got obsessed. He built a rig with thermal cameras and started spending almost every weekend in those woods, baiting the area with peanut butter and candy bars. Well, in 2009, he finally caught what he was looking for on thermal video. A few minutes into the recording, a bright white thermal outline creeps out of the dark, grabs a candy bar, and slips back into the trees. Game wardens in the area say they get calls about Sasquatch all the time, but they always point out that nobody ever finds bones or tracks. Green doesn't buy that skepticism, saying dead animals rot away in the woods way faster than people think. At the end of the day, he doesn't care if people doubt him. In his own words, "I don't care if anyone thinks I'm crazy, but by God, I'm gonna prove it one way or another." It's hard to spot at first, but keep your eyes on the ditch by the side of the road there. There's a massive dark figure. This clip was captured back in 2010 inside Ontario's Algonquin Park with a bumper-mounted GoPro. The guy who shot it asked to stay anonymous, but he sent the footage over to the Ontario Wildlife Research Bigfoot group, who ended up sharing it online. A YouTuber named Snowwalker Prime broke the clip down and raised a solid point. Pulling a stunt in a gorilla suit out in Algonquin Park is a terrible move. Dense backcountry, so wandering around looking like a black bear, well, it's a great way to get killed by a hunter. If it's a fake, whoever did it put themselves in serious danger. Plus, the original file was not just this brief, convenient snippet, it was over an hour of plain, boring driving footage, and this tiny moment was buried inside it. And that detail does make it seem a lot more like an accidental capture than a planned prank, but what do you think? Share your thoughts down in the comments. This picture was posted to Reddit a few years ago by a now deleted user who wrote, "Back in November 2011, my uncle had a trail camera set up on his property in the Appalachian foothills. He mostly used it to keep track of deer, so there were usually hundreds of completely boring pictures on the card. Deer, raccoons, squirrels, occasional neighbor's dog. This was the one picture that stood out. It was taken around 4:30 in the afternoon. At first we thought the dark shape between the trees was just a person. Problem was, nobody was supposed to be anywhere near the part of the property. The figure also looked unusually tall compared with the trees around it, although the distance makes that hard to judge. What really bothered my uncle was that there wasn't another picture of it. The camera was set to take 3 photos whenever it detected movement, but this was the only frame showing anything unusual. The next picture, taken seconds later, showed nothing but the forest. We joked about it being Bigfoot at the time, but nobody seriously believed that. A person wearing dark clothes, standing at just the right angle, seemed much more likely. Still, I've looked at this picture more times than I probably should have, and I can never quite come up with a satisfying answer. It looks a hell of a lot like descriptions of Sasquatch." And this creepy image was shared to the Expedition Bigfoot Facebook page back in 2019. Apparently, the picture was discovered on a Georgia man's trail cam who was knocked off a tree. It appears to show something looking directly into the lens from just inches away. The photo had circulated for years on Bigfoot forums, with people claiming it could be a close-up look at a Sasquatch. Obviously, the thing that stands out the most is the eye. It's wide and round, staring straight into the camera with dark, coarse-looking hair surrounding it. You can see a bit of skin around the eye, like the hair is a bit thinner on the face. Matches a lot of descriptions of the creature. You can also make out what looks like almost an ear. The rest of the scene doesn't offer many clues. The camera is pointed upward toward a bright, washed-out canopy. A thick tree trunk stretches across the middle of the frame. Now, is this a Sasquatch I mean, there's no way to say really. An animal getting extremely close to a camera, it can obscure it to the point where it's almost unrecognizable, but some do think this thing just looks too ape-like to be a regular animal. What do you think this thing is? This trail cam photo popped up on the Exploring the Unexplained Facebook page, and it definitely got people talking. The shot was taken around midday back in September 2012 using a Wild Game Innovations trail camera in Alberta, Canada. Right in the middle of the frame, stepping through the brush and ferns, is this massive, dark, hairy figure. You can see thick black fur covering the whole thing. At first glance, the angle makes it hard to tell what you're even looking at. Some people reckon it's just a bear standing on its hind legs, but others swear the proportions look way more like a massive, ape-like creature. What do you think though? Just a bear caught at a weird angle, or did this camera actually pick up something else creeping through the woods? Let me know what you think down in the comments. This is a creepy one. You don't really notice it at first, but look at the dark, shadowy figure standing in the trees in the distance. It was posted by a Reddit user years ago who said, "My dad gave me a box of old trail camera SD cards a few months ago. He used to hunt on some family property in Pennsylvania, and most of the pictures are exactly what you'd expect. Deer, turkeys, squirrels, and about 400 pictures of the same raccoon. Then I came across this one. The camera was set up near an old logging trail in February 2016. My dad doesn't remember putting it there specifically, but he thinks he was watching a game trail that crossed through the woods. At first I thought the dark shape was a bear. It's still my best down-to-earth guess, but not only is it standing upright, the proportions are really strange. The way the arms hang down makes it look humanoid. There's nothing particularly dramatic about the picture. It's not staring right at the camera or doing anything weird. It almost looks like whatever it is simply happened to walk through the frame at the exact moment the camera triggered. I checked the pictures before and after, deer in one, empty forest in the next, then this. My dad saw it and immediately said it was probably someone walking through the property. Honestly, I hope that's what it was. This next video was reportedly captured on a hunter's trail camera, and whatever wandered into frame definitely wasn't shy about making its presence known. Behind a pile of fallen branches, you can see what appears to be a huge, shaggy creature with dark fur mixed with patches of gray and white. Its face seems to have a distinctly humanoid look, complete with what looks like a beard. Then things get more interesting. The creature suddenly gets up and starts tossing around large branches and logs, with one piece coming dangerously close to hitting the camera. It eventually grabs the trail camera itself, but drops it before disappearing deeper into the woods. And these images supposedly came from a night vision camera set up outside a rural property in northern Ontario, near the edge of a conservation area. The landowner had been dealing with something getting into his garbage, knocking over feeders, so he put up a couple cameras facing the field behind his house. A few nights later, the cameras captured something moving through the tall grass. In the middle of the field was this large figure walking away from the camera, an undeniably ape-like figure, though some say it could also be a black bear at a weird angle. But some people who come across the images thought they were looking at a Sasquatch. Others suggested something much less exotic, even an escaped chimpanzee, but neither explanation is easy to prove from these images alone, obviously. Whatever walked through that field that night certainly wasn't the kind of animal the property owner was expecting to see. That's been the video. I'll catch you, yes, you specifically, in the next one.